Hi, and welcome to Knitting Blooms. It is episode 28, and today is November 6th, and I am home from Knit Away, and I am tired. I don't know about anybody else, but whenever I attend these type of retreats, I don't get a lot of sleep for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a very light sleeper, and any different noises wake me up, and two, it's just a lot of activity and you want to stay up late and you don't want to miss anything. So I am tired today, and I'm hoping I can get through this because I have a lot to talk about. So welcome to the show, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to new viewers and returning viewers. Again, I have a lot to talk about today, and it's going to be a long one, and I also have more. We recorded, I recorded with Kagi from the High Fiber Diet and Katie from Knittin on the Fly, and we had like sort of a round table type atmosphere with some of the other people from the retreat. And there's 3 different sessions of that, so I'm going to post those videos in a separate upload because they are quite long. It's well over an hour when I combine the 3 together. And I will warn you that some of that footage is kind of explicit, but if you ever want to find out what it's like to attend a knitting retreat, go check that out, because we just had a really good time, and just sitting and talking about it, you know, last night before we all left this morning was just a lot of fun. So go and check that out. So I'll start with my recap of Knittin in the Mitten. You'll see a lot of what happened when you watch the roundtable episode, but I can tell you that I had a really good time. This was my first knitting retreat that I did not host, and so it was really nice to just be able to go and relax and not have to worry about anything and just work on my projects, and it was really nice. We arrived on Thursday, and we were greeted with a wonderful goodie bag, thanks to all the sponsors who made donations to the event. Awesome, awesome goodie bag. Lots of neat little things in there. I'm not going to show you everything because, believe me, I have so much to talk about today that I think this show's going to be well over an hour already. So I'm not going to go through everything that got in my goodie bag. Just know that it was awesome goodie bag, a lot of neat things that I will definitely be using. And so that was Thursday. We arrived, and you know, you get there on Thursday and you're just trying to get to know people and see who's there and what have you, and met a bunch of wonderful ladies, had a great time with them all weekend long. And let me tell you, if you have never been to a knitting retreat, find one and go, because they are just so much fun. You know, just meeting other knitters and spending the entire weekend with them, and just you feel like a family when you leave there. So definitely, I'm not sure when Kagi is going to plan another retreat. She did talk about planning another retreat, but it kind of sounded like it might not be for 2 years, but maybe she'll change her mind about that. But we do still have spots open for Knittopia, so if you want to get in on that, we do have a few midweek spots left. So that's going to be coming up in April. So I'm going to jump right into my whips. I will get back to all my stash enhancement of the things that I purchased while I was at Knittin in the Mitten. Oh, and I have my Knittin in the Mitten shirt that I got. Very, very fun. But like I said, I'll get back to all the stuff that I purchased when we get to stash enhancement. So I'm just going to jump in and try and get going on this. I'm going to start with the sock yarn blanket. I did 1 square. That's it. I had high hopes to do more, but there was so much activity going on that I got a lot of knitting done, but not on this project. Okay, had to break that for a minute. Hopefully the camera is going to do what it's supposed to do. Anyway, back to the sock yarn blanket. I did do 1 square. I did weave in most of the ends on the row below. I try and keep the current row where this is the top square. I try and keep the end so I can weave that in later. But this is the one and only square that I did this week. That one right there. Not too much progress on this one, but you know, what can you say? I did a lot of knitting this weekend and last week, but only one square on this week. So that's the sock yarn blanket. So I'm counting 8 yards on that. The Modified Lady Eleanor. I didn't really work on this week. However, I did go in and do the 2 squares that I had not done as of last week. These 2 squares. And that just because I wanted to finish the row. I wanted to get the row done. And that added up to, a total of 5 yards. So not much progress on that, but I'm glad that I got that row done. Hopefully I can continue to make some progress. The next week or so is going to be a little crazy with knitting for hire, but we'll make it work. So I'm gonna, sorry for the bending, but I have so much stuff, let me tell you, around me that it's crazy. Okay, so basic socks is next, and I did finish the short row heels. And this is what I worked on mostly in the car, is this project. Last week I was right at the heel. Here's my Dicky Doo, Dawn from Wolf Farm. She calls it the Dicky Doo. So here it is. That was from last week, and this is on the front, but it is right at the back, or right at the spot where the heel was. So I put the heel in. I did that before we left, and then I was able to knit all of this part in the car going to Knittin in the Mitten. And then on the way home, I didn't get a whole lot done because I tried to get the heel done before we left, but that didn't happen. So I did work on the heel in the car, which was amazing because I get car sick. So I was able to get my heel done in the car and then do a little bit on the leg. Not too much on that, but on that sock, but it is moving right along a lot more than I had done from before. On that project, I knit 86 yards. Oh, and you know what? I didn't add up all my yardage, so I'll have to just include all that stuff in the show notes because I didn't add it all up, but I'll include my, oh goodness. Yarn balls are going everywhere. So that, again, that's the socks that rock. A medium weight on that project. So that, I got quite a bit done. Again, that was 86 yards. So let me see if I can, while we're going through all this, I'll just try and add this up. So it was 8 yards. 8 yards for the sock yarn blanket, 4.9 yards for the Modified Lady Eleanor, and 86 yards for the basic socks. So that's the basic socks. And more basic socks, I did a little bit on these too. When we did our virtual knit last Saturday, I worked on these for a little bit. This one I worked on for a little bit, and I got to the point, I think it's the point of where I'm going to do my heel. I'll have to measure it again, double check. But I started there, and I got that much on that one, and I did start the second one, which I did not have going before that. So I got the second one started, and all the increases are done on that. This is online sock yarn. It's on zeros. And on this project, I did 34 yards. Almost 35 yards on that project. So nothing new or revolutionary or anything with this, just basic vanilla socks, and we're moving right along. Yeah, so that's that. I'm going to try and get through this quick because, like I said, I am really tired, and I know I'm going to forget something, but I'm going to try not to. So, and that was the more basic socks. Now, the Sofa Saver, that was one project I didn't take with me to Knittin' in the Mitten. I didn't work on that this week, so there's no progress on that. I also did not take with me the bear. However, I did finish the legs of the bear, and it's all stuffed to that point. So I'm estimating about 20 yards for that because I didn't weigh that yarn today to figure out how many, but I'm going to say 20 yards on that project on the bear. And the bear will definitely be done by next week. Definitely be done. Okay, so that's the bear. The simple crochet blanket, the one that I know my cats are going to love. In fact, today when I took this out to check my progress and to weigh the ball, Sammy immediately came over and wanted to get on my lap. She's sleeping now, so we're going to try and keep her sleeping. But anyway, this is the top. I got 4 full stripes done, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get the whole thing in the camera. But let's see. Here's my marker right here, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a tiny bit of the next color. So again, this project is my project to help push me through my stash because it's very quick. I think I did 2 stripes while at Knittin' in the Mitten, but I think I did 2 stripes while I was at home before I left. So that's coming right along. I still have quite a bit more to go, but that gave me 323 yards this week on my stash. So let me put that in my 323. So that's that. Now, I'm going to skip over Bacardi for a minute. For those of you that were at Knittin' in the Mitten, you know why already, but I'll talk about it in a minute. I'm going to skip over Bacardi, and I'm going to go to the Citron, which is not that one. It's this one. And Citron got no love this week. And I haven't even moved my marker from the week before. So I really should take this marker out and move it right now because I didn't even take this project out of the bag to move the marker. So no progress on Citron at all, but it's pretty. It's still a great color. And again, this is primarily because of working on knitting for hire. I have way too many projects on the needles. I need to hurry up and get them done so I can get a more reasonable amount of projects going. Okay, so Citron, no progress. Mulinomah, I did start it this week. I didn't get a whole lot done. Here it is. Now you'll see the marker is here and it's a little bit down from the top, but technically I did start it this week. It's everything that's knit here was done this week. And there it is so far. and not a whole lot of progress on it. According to my the grams on the ball, I've done 24 yards, so not a huge amount of progress. I am enjoying it so far. It's a basic project. Yeah, I kind of think this yarn is a little thick for what I really should be using a size 3 for, but I have just about the right amount of yardage for this project, so I'm afraid if I go up to a 4, it's going to be, I'm going to run out of yarn. So I'm sticking with the 3, and I'm hoping that the fabric will loosen up a little bit once I soak it. So we're going with it. Hopefully it'll soften up a bit and loosen up. So that was, oops, that was 24 yards that I got to put in there. 24. So that was Mulinomah. And I also started Stinky Pink, which has been really fun so far because just doing the cast on, the edging, and the first part of it, I've done 3 techniques that I've never done before. And here it is so far. I'm using the new camera on the computer, so we're going to try and see if it'll focus. Anyway, that's how much I've done so far. Not a whole lot, just the cuff, and I haven't got into the top part yet, where the skunk is. But again, I've had a lot of other things that I'm trying to work on too. But I'm really enjoying it, and I have to tell you that if you haven't checked out these patterns yet, and you're intimidated by them, don't be. Because Valerie, she has really put a lot of detail into these patterns. I didn't really know how to do the I think it was the braided cast on. I don't know what it was. I think it was the braided cast on. I don't have my pattern here. But the cast on I was unsure of, and then the next, I think it was the braided or the twine. I think it was called braided cast on and then a twined edging. And I had never done either one of them. And she gave me enough information in the pattern that I could figure it out. Or if I couldn't figure it out by her description, she also referred me to YouTube for, you know, to watch a video or whatever. So don't be intimidated by these patterns, because she has really done a wonderful job at writing these patterns for all levels of knitter. So definitely go check them out if you haven't already, or you haven't started the knit along, because they're going to be really fun. So on this project, a whopping 18 yards. And it probably is a little bit more than that because I just weighed the balls. I forgot to weigh them when I first got them, and I'm just assuming that there's 50 grams, and you know, sometimes there's 51 grams or 52 grams, and when I weighed them, there was only like one gram gone. Plus, yeah, I think my scale does. No, my scale must not. I don't think it does like partial grams, but so I'm putting down 18 yards for this project for this week. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's close enough. So 18 yards on that. So that's moving right along. If you haven't joined the Mitten Knit Along, come and join us and check out Valerie's patterns, because like I said, they are very nicely written. Okay, now I also had a bit of startitis. I started the Mulinomah, I started the Stinky Pink. Started another project. I started a project called Loopy Triangle, and it's a very, very simple shawl. And let's see, it goes like this. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna be able to show you much of anything. It's a triangle shawl that you increase at the bottom, and when you're done, you pull out these bottom stitches. It's kind of like the what's that one? Clapetee, where you drop stitches. Well, this one you don't drop them until the very end, and when you drop them, they come out into long loops, and then you cut them and they're like your fringe. But I had this yarn in my stash, and here it is. It's the Cassandra. It's a ribbon yarn, and I just didn't know what to do with it, and I wanted to use it. It's only 68 yards per ball, and I could not think of anything to do with it. And I just happened to come across this pattern that somebody did on Ravelry, and I thought, you know what, that's good enough. I think I'll like that project. So I cast it on. I did knit one full ball. You go through, it's 3 balls, you knit 1 ball, you weigh it, or you weigh the second ball, and then you keep increasing until you're about halfway through the second ball, and then when you get halfway through the second ball, you start decreasing, and then you finish up with the third ball, and you continue to decrease down. So it's very, very simple and pretty quick because it is on size 15s. Whoops, I think I'm losing a stitch here. It is pretty quick because it is on size 15s, but it's hard to make a lot of progress on anything when you have, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. 13 projects. 3 projects on the needles. Crazy. I'm insane this week, I think. So I did 1 ball on that, and it was 68 yards that I knit on that. And then on Knitting for Hire, oh wait, let me put the 68 yards in my 68 on that. So that was 68 yards. Now, oh, and let me tell you about the Knitting for Hire. Knitting for Hire did start a project. I still forgot to contact the designer to find out if I can show it, but it's in my lovely pink and green bag. And I would say that I am 2/3 done with it right now. And I have knit on this project 516 yards. So I would say that I'm about 2/3 done with it, and I hope to finish it up in the next couple of days because she still has yet another project for me to work on that's due before December 1st. But let me talk about Bacardi. And I worked on Bacardi almost all day yesterday. I got up in the morning. Did I even work on anything else yesterday? I'm not real sure, but almost all day yesterday I worked on Bacardi. And I got probably about 6 inches done. And I have a picture. And the reason I have a picture is because last night I found a rather disturbing discovery. And I have a very disturbing thing going on right now because I'm all tangled up here. The discovery was that I was using the wrong size needles. You know how, and this is all I have now, and as you can see, I have a mess of yarn all tangled up because I ended up having to rip the whole sleeve out that I had done yesterday. And here's the thing. Most patterns call for you to use a smaller needle for the ribbing, and then you change to the larger needle. This is a mess. And then you change to the larger needle when you get to the body of the project. Well, I forgot to do that. And I knit, again, I'll have a picture to show you. I had about, I would say about 2 to 3 inches done before yesterday. But then I knit about 6 inches yesterday. And everyone was like, oh, that looks so nice and what have you. And then I discovered that I had not changed my needles because I went to go, my mind is not in it to figure out this mess right now. I went to go and change to flip my chart over. And I discovered that there was a set of needles underneath the chart. And then I thought, well, let me double check to make sure I'm using the right size needles. So I checked the needles that were currently in my project, and sure enough, they were not the size that I was supposed to be using. Well, I had two options at that point. I could let it go and just go with it, or I could rip it out. And because I don't mind so much ripping things out, I elected to go ahead and rip it out. So I proceeded to rip it out. And needless to say, I had already cut a lot of the yarn as I was going. So I have a lot of these little balls because I cut the yarn as I went, and it's kind of a mess. But I ripped it all out last night, and Michelle and Catherine kindly helped me wind everything back up again into all these little balls. And this is a mess. I'm about ready to cut these pieces. I thought, well, I'm going to leave these on there because they're already attached and I had them attached before. But I'm about ready to cut them now because they're crazy. I can't get these noodles off all over the place. Anyway, so I ripped the whole thing out. Only to find out that the needles that were in my project were a size 4, and the needles that were in my pattern were a size 4. And so then I'm thinking, did I use the right size for the body of Bacardi? I don't know. I don't know. I thought that the needles that I had, okay, if I could reach my scissors right now, I would be cutting this yarn. This is what I'm dealing with today, and I don't need to be dealing with this today. So I don't know if I've used the right size needles for the body. You know what? I'm not changing the body. The body is what it is, and the only thing that's going to change now is that if I continue to knit the sleeves in the size 4, or if I do, in fact, oops, I'm dropping a stitch here. Or if I do, in fact, go up a needle size to knit the rest of the sleeve. So right now, Bacardi is in a temporary timeout, probably until I figure out what's up with all this stuff. And then I need to get back to it because I really do want to get this done. And I was making such wonderful progress on it yesterday, and then this all happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit a couple of inches with the size 5s. That is the size that I'm supposed to be using for the sleeve after I do the cuff. And then compare it to the body of Bacardi. And hopefully it's right. Because if I've just ripped out 8 inches of work for no reason, because maybe the size in the body is a size 4 too, I'm going to be pretty upset with myself. But there's nothing I can do about it now. And I hope you guys are enjoying this mess, because I certainly am not. I think I have just about got it all from being untangled. But anyway, so like I said, Bacardi did make progress, but now there's no progress. In fact, I actually have downgraded my progress because I have more back in the balls. That's for my Knit My Stash. So now that that's all straightened out. I'm not putting this back in the bag. And hopefully the cats won't get it. So right now, the Cardi's just going to sit over here and be quiet while I finish the podcast. I didn't calculate how much I actually tore out because really I didn't calculate how much I had knit at that point. But there you have it. Remember to change your needles when you go from the cuff to the body. That is one lesson that I have yet to learn because I do it all the time. And many, many times I have to rip it back. So let's go on to spinning. I mentioned last week that I finished spinning my 4 Rivers yarn and fiber, and I have it to show you today. And I did ply it last week before I left for Knittin' in the Mitten, and in fact I was enjoying it so much that I, on what day was it? Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday? Something up there is being weird, but Tuesday or Wednesday I went to 4 Rivers Yarn and Fiber Etsy shop, and I bought me some more merino because I was really enjoying it. So here's what it is. I got 790 yards of lace weight. I think the twist could be a little bit tighter, but I think it's going to be okay, and I do have enough for a Rock Island. The Rock Island I think only takes like 600 and some, but I am going to start the Rock Island at some point with this yarn. I'm very, very excited that I got so much yardage with 4 ounces, and I actually still have, I didn't actually weigh this, so I don't know how many ounces this is. Actually, I might have weighed it, and it's on my Ravelry page already, but I forget. But 790 yards in this skein. I do have another little bit left on the bobbin that I need to ply, that I'm going to try and do like a Andean ply kind of thing. But I'm going to use on my ball winder and try and do it that way. So hopefully it'll be an experiment, because I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So 790 yards out of this. I love the fiber. I love spinning the fiber, and if the fiber is as fun to knit with as it was to spin with, it's going to be fabulous. So I can't wait to get that started, but I have so many other things to do. It's not going to be for a while. Definitely not until after the first of the year. But let me show you the fiber that I got from 4 Rivers Yarn and Fiber when I placed my order last week, when I was almost done with the other. And that's it right there. It's another merino, and that's why I got it, because I love it. And it is it just says merino, so I'm guessing that it is not a superwash. But that is my first stash enhancement that I'm going to show you right now, which is a segue right into stash enhancement. Oh, first let me talk about your Yarn Hollow, because I did spin a little bit on that this weekend too. Not a huge amount, but I did. Here's my Yarn Hollow BFL and Tussa Silk. I spun for a tiny bit on, what day was that? Friday night. I spun on this. Just for a tiny bit. I needed a break from knitting, and I pulled out the spindle. I was really missing the fact that I didn't take my spinning wheel with me, but we just didn't have room in the car, and the spinning wheel had to stay home. It couldn't go to the retreat with us. So I did spin on this for a tiny bit on Friday. I didn't weigh it to find out how much, but this is how much I have left of the final third before I can ply it. So, now for the good stuff. All of the stash enhancement. Let's start with the Trifecta of Awesome Yarn Club. I got this on Saturday after I did my recording, so I didn't show it to you last week. But it is awesome. And it's from Lisa from the Fiber Nymph, who also does the 90% Knitting podcast. And this is what she sent. I hope that I didn't take anything out of here. It's been a week since I got it, and I haven't been home. But if you do not want to see it, you probably already got yours. I'm sure everybody got them already. But this is what we got. These two awesome, awesome colors. And I cannot wait to knit them up. It is a, it's a worsted weight. Looks like both skeins have 220 yards in them. And she also includes in her little letter a suggested pattern, and I haven't had a chance to go and look at that pattern, but I am planning on doing that, and I'm possibly going to knit that pattern with this yarn. I don't know because I haven't looked at it yet. But in the package with the yarn, we also got some cool buttons that also matches the yarn, which is very cool. And those are from Emily Eckel. Handcrafted artisan buttons. She has an Etsy shop, which is emilyeckel.com. Now that I have this camera, I'm going to see if I can get it to focus for you. Cool. There you go. There's the website. I might like this camera if it works properly, because I know that a lot of the other podcasters that use their computer have the focus, and I really like it when they can put something up to the camera and it will focus. Anyway, we also received a cool button. Let's see if this is going to focus. Maybe not. I got all the glare from the lights too, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see that. But it says the Trifecta of Awesome Yarn Club, October 2011, and I have a little collection of pins and buttons on my my knitting bag now. And we also received a little pickle pin in the bag as well. So that's going to also go on my knitting bag. Very, very cool. And this is one thing that I'm surprised I didn't toss into my my bag for knit away or knitting in the mitten, because I love these, and it is a peanut butter pretzel. So this is going to be eaten today, I think. I'm surprised that I was able to leave it in the packaging to wait till I came home, because that looks quite yummy. So that was an awesome package that I received last week, but I had already recorded, so I couldn't tell you about. What else did I receive before I left? I received my fiber for the Knit Girls Knit Along. And this is from Cloud Lover. And I want to say this is the Haunted Garden, or the, excuse me, that would be Bacardi, and you are not to chew on it. Crazy cat. I think it's the Haunted Vineyard, but I'm not 100% sure. And there's nothing marked on it, and I took the labels and took them out. But anyway, this is the fiber for the Spin Along, Knit Along for the Knit Girls. And I bought 2 bumps. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm trying to learn how to spin different weights. Most of what I have spun so far has been a fingering to lace weight. And I need to get to the point where I can spin the weight that I want when I want to. So I ordered 2 bumps. My first intention was to spin for another shawl. But then I thought, you know what? I've been spinning for shawls, and maybe I need to do something different. So I'm thinking about trying to spin a worsted weight for the Twisty Goo hat, and I think there was some other little fingerless mitts that I think take DK. So that's what I'm planning on doing with this right now. Crystal! Crystal! She's trying to jump up in my craft room, and I don't want her to get on the counter because I have a bunch of stuff up there. Crystal! Come over here, please. So that is my fiber for the Knit Girls Spin Along, Knit Along. I still have more stuff. When I got home, I placed an order last week. What are you chewing on now? Crystal. She is chewing on the wires now. Come over here, please. Come up here. Sit on my lap. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come over here. I know. Come over here. Nut. Crazy. Sit still. Here she is. Crystal. Okay, sit still right here. I know you'll be comfortable. Lay down. Okay, so last week I placed a couple of orders. And this is what I got. I placed an order for some of the vegan stitch markers. And it's the rainbow pack, and you can't really see it very well. It's in the bag, and if I take them out, they're just going to go everywhere, so I'm not taking them out. But I did order, I think it's the small set. Could be the medium set, I'm not sure. But I got those, so those will go on my stitch markers. I also ordered some stitch markers from Rain Lover. If you haven't been over to her Etsy shop, go check it out. Here's the here's her card, and you can go check out her Etsy shop. She's selling stitch markers to help fund her wedding. And let me see, I'll take one out so you can see it. But this is what I ordered, and they're very pretty blue, and they have the little loop at the top. So hopefully they're dangly a little bit, but not so much that they're gonna get caught on everything. So I saw those and I thought they were very cool, so I ordered those. So more stitch markers. Wonderful, wonderful. And then I placed another order with Wolf Farms. And I can't show you everything because part of it's for a gift, but I'm going to talk about some of them. I ordered some pomegranate hand and body lotion because I loved the pumpkin spice sample that she sent with my order from last week. And this pomegranate hand and body lotion smells awesome. And actually, I got to try out the liquid soap at Knittin in the Mitten this weekend because Kagi had some in the bathroom that we could use, and I did try that out, and it was awesome. And I can't wait to start using this pomegranate because it smells good, and I loved the feel of the pumpkin spice lotion, so I knew I was going to like this. And then I also received a lavender candle, which smells wonderful. I'm going to put this up in my bedroom. I like to light a lavender candle like about an hour or two before I go to bed, because when I go to bed, the lavender helps relax me. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this up in my bedroom and light it a little bit before I go to bed, and hopefully that'll help me sleep. Tonight, I don't think I'm going to have any problem sleeping because I got very little sleep when I was there at the retreat. But it'll still be lit tonight because I need to be able to relax when I go to bed and sleep. It smells wonderful. And the other one that I received was Deck the Halls. If you remember last week, I received the Santa's Tree Farm, and I was going to go order more, and it was sold out. But I saw this one, this Deck the Halls, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try this one. And it is awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it. It smells so good. In fact, it smells very similar to another company's scent that I really loved that is now discontinued. So it's awesome that I was able to find this one. So I will definitely be ordering this Deck the Halls again, because that is very cool. So that was my other thing that I received, and I got that today. It came, I don't know when it came, but man, that was quick shipping, because I think I just ordered that earlier this week before I left. And Crystal is drooling on me. So now let's get to the things that I purchased at the retreat. Okay, so first, before we even got to the retreat, we stopped at the local, I'm just smelling this lotion on my hands. It smells really good. Before we even got to the retreat, we stopped in at the local yarn store in Grand Haven where the retreat was. And the store was called Needlesmith. And yeah, I know, I shouldn't have been buying any yarn, but this is what I came across. And when I show you this, you'll know why I bought it. It's Eleanor Classic Wool, and I'm going to make me some slippers. I have enough wool to make about 40 pairs of slippers, but I needed some more. Yeah, I have a lot of yarn for slippers, and then with all the yarn that I have left over from previous pairs of slippers, I had no business buying more yarn for slippers. However, how could I not have slippers in this color? I couldn't. I could not just see this yarn and walk right past it. Are those not my colors? Those are my colors. So at some point in the future, at some point, I don't know when, but I will be making slippers with this. I'm very excited about it. So that was at the yarn store, Needlesmith. And each ball is about 220 yards. So what is that? 840, 880 yards? I don't know. My brain's not focused. So into the stash it goes. So that's the only yarn that I purchased this weekend. But I bought fiber. The good thing about fiber, though, is that I don't have to add the yardage to my stash because I have no clue how much yardage I'm going to get. But before I show you the fiber that I got, let me show you the bag that I got. Yarn Hollow was there, which is the company that does the yarn that I've been talking about forever, the one that I've been spinning, this one. She was there. I was planning on looking to see if she had fiber, and I was going to buy some more fiber from her. She didn't have any fiber. She only had yarn, and I was kind of determined not to buy yarn if I could. So instead, I bought this Spindle Bag. It's a kind of a, I don't know, it's a spindle bag. It's kind of a triangular shape, and it has a zipper. But the nice thing is it has a silky inside. If you remember, I was carrying around a spindle bag similar to this with that fiber in it. However, it kept sticking to the inside of the bag. The fiber would get caught on the inside of the bag, so I put it back in my Ziploc. But this bag, I don't think it's going to stick. The only risk I have is from the zipper. But if I'm real careful, Crystal's playing with the dangly. If I'm careful, I don't think it's going to be a problem. So I got this bag from Yarn Hollow, and I love it. Can't wait to put my spindle in there. The next thing I bought, which was kind of an impulse purchase because it was so soft, I got some Angora Fiber. 2 bags of it. There was, and I don't even know the name of the people who I bought it from, but they had 4 bunnies there, and they were so soft, and they were so cute. But I knew that if I even thought about buying a bunny, my husband would kill me. So I bought bunny fiber instead. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. I don't have any clue how I'm going to spin it. But I'm going to try. It's going to be an experiment. It smells kind of weird. Whew. Anyway, so I have two bags of it. I think they're 2 ounces each in each bag. So I saw they had taken the Angora fiber and spun it up and knit it into a scarf. I have no idea what I'm going to make with it once I do spin it up. I think I'll just have to wait and see how it spins up. Maybe it'll just be one of those things where I try it and see how I like it and go from there. The next thing I bought was this fiber from CJ Kopek. And it's very pretty blues and browns and greens. And it is a merino because I found out that I like a merino. So, and these aren't really my colors, but I figured maybe I could spin them up and make something for somebody else, my grandmother or somebody like that. So that's that ball, and this is a 4-ounce bump. And then I bought this. It's cotton candy bat, and it's like a purpley, winey color, and a lime green, and kind of a champagne kind of color, which is very awesome. And I think this was Winding Wool Creek Fibers. I think that's who I bought this from. But it's very pretty. I can't wait to try it. Again, I'm not quite sure how to deal with the bats, but we'll figure it out. What? And then the last thing that I bought, which was another kind of impulse purchase, but it was pretty. I'm kind of afraid of it, but we'll see, is this. And do you see the sparkle? Look at that. The bright green on the inside, the purple. Awesome. I probably shouldn't have taken it out of the bag. But it's another bat, and I'm putting it right back in here before it gets out of control. But it is very cool, and I actually have 2 of them. There's the same, she said it's the same fiber. One she just wrapped with the green on the outside, and one she wrapped with the purple on the outside. So that's going back in there because that is already out of control. But it is, excuse me, it's Superwash Merino, Firestar, and Angelina. And not sure how I'm going to like the Firestar and Angelina, but we're going to try it and see how it goes. I have no idea when this is actually going to get spun, but obviously it will get spun at some point. So I think that's all my purchases. That's what I got. Mostly fiber this time, which is good because I have way too much yarn already. I had a great time at Knittin' in the Mitten. It was fabulous. Watch the other episode with the round table. The lighting isn't great. I didn't take my my studio lights with me when I went because we didn't really have that space for that kind of stuff, so we had to deal with the lighting that was there. And it's kind of far away because there was a bunch of us in each group. So hopefully it's reasonable enough to you guys to be able to see. You know, you can go and listen to Kagi's podcast, The High Fiber Diet, and get the audio, or you can watch the video. I'm sure Kagi will have her own little recap on top of the round tables that we did. But it's really kind of fun, you know, to get together with that many women. I think at one point when we had all the day trippers and everything there was like 47 people. It got a little crazy on Saturday, but overall the weekend was a huge success. awesome vendor donations for the goodie bags and door prizes, and just a fabulous, fabulous time. So, and I think that's about it for me. I am ready to take a nap. So I'm going to get this edited and hopefully started uploading, and I'm going to take a nap. So, because I am exhausted. So I hope you have a great week. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my fun purchases from the week. And sorry I couldn't show you more progress on some of the other projects. Like I said, you'll see the picture from Bacardi, and I did make progress, but that had to be all torn out. Hopefully I don't have any setbacks like that this week. Oh, here, let me tell you how many yards. I did calculate it all up, but I didn't total. Wow, I didn't realize I knit that much this week. 586 yards on my personal project. So I did what I was supposed to do this week. I actually knit 516 yards on my knitting for hire and 586 on my personal projects. So the 1,000 yards that I was hoping for, I actually did that. And even though I had to rip back, I would say I probably had to rip back at least 100 yards, if not 150, on Bacardi, on the sleeves. So I could have had a lot more. I could have kind of caught back up a little bit more. So maybe this week I'll be able to catch up a little bit more. If I was counting my fiber that I spun this week, that I finished plying, I would have had 790 yards to add to that. But I'm not counting fiber this time, so I'll have to deal with that. But that's it, and I am off till next week. I hope you have a great week. I hope your knitting blooms this week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.